Hey Ranger families, Coach Sinclair here. We're going to go through the next set of bones, which happen to be in our legs, starting with the biggest bone in our body, which is called the femur. Now this bone goes from your hip all the way down to your knee, and it is the biggest bone in your body. It runs all the way from your hip to your knee. So we're going to start at our hip and say femur. Now a way that I like to remember my femur, because a lot of people get their femur mixed up with their humerus. In your leg you have feet, right? At the bottom of your leg you have feet. Well, at the top of your leg you have femur. So femur, feet. Femur, feet. Okay, that's how I remember it. The next bone in our leg is the patella, and it's actually our kneecap. It's that little round piece that goes on the end of your knee right here, and it is something to protect those muscles that come together, and there's tendons that come together, and when you're standing on your knees on the ground, it's something that protects that as well. So we're going to point at our knee and say patella. Good. Now there are two bones in the lower part of our leg, just like in our arm. So right here, there are two bones. One is big and one is small. So the big one, I'm going to point at my leg and say tibia. Now it's a tibia. That is the big bone. I like to emphasize the B in it, so it reminds me of big. Tibia is the big one. Okay? So when you point at it, tibia is the big one, and you show your muscles. Okay? The next bone, which is the small one, is the fibula. Now I say fibula, and I emphasize that U, and I point at you, whoever I'm saying it to. So I say fibula, and that's the small one. So I say fibula is the small one. Very good. Now the next set of bones in our ankle are called the tarsals. Now a way that I remember what they're called, if you remember the wrist, they're called the carpals because we can drive a car with our wrist. The tarsals, I remember them by your feet may be the ones to step on tar. So you're using your feet to step on tar, so your tarsals are in your ankle. Okay? So everybody point at your ankle and say tarsals. The last bone in your foot, actually the last set of bones in your foot, makes up all the little bones inside of your foot, besides your toes. So all these bones inside your foot are the metatarsals. So you're just adding meta to the ankle bones tarsals. So everybody with me, point at the top of your foot and say metatarsals. Now we don't include this one on our testing or when we're asking kids to do the bones, but your toes are also called your phalanges. So we have fingers which are called phalanges and toes that are called phalanges, but we don't include that. So all together we're going to start at the top. We're going to start at our hip, and we're going to go femur, lift up your knee, patella, tibia is the big one, fibula is the little one, tarsals, metatarsals, and that's it. And those are the leg bones.